We are live streaming.
Okay, we're on. 15 seconds.
Good evening, everyone. This meeting is called pursuant to the provisions of the Open Public Meetings Law. Notice of this meeting was sent to the Cape May Star and Wave in the Atlantic City Press, posted on the bulletin board in the municipal building, and has remained continuously posted as the required notice under the statute. In addition, a copy of this notice is and has been available to the public and is on file in the office of the municipal clerk. We can all rise for a flag and silence your phones. United States of America, to the republic which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Roll call, please.
Commissioner Antonicello,
Here.
Deputy Mayor Dick,
Here.
Mayor Sabo.
Here. Let the record also reflect Clerk Teresa Antiano, Solicitor Frank Corrado, Associate Joe Sam. Yes. Our engineer, Nathan Chadwell, also in attendance. Speaking of engineers, we'll start out with our engineers report.
Thank you, Mayor. It should be noted that the Safe Routes Schools is now removed from this report.
So soon.
Since Ray Roberts is working, so it's a positive development. So we have the reconstruction of Fifth Avenue, that's pretty much closed out. We're kind of final change order and base certification. I'll deliver that to Lauren at the next meeting. The transportation alternative set aside application, there was a site meeting on November 2nd, Fridays ago. GPI was on site, and that's for project review with the NJDOT environmental group.
Tony, on that one, risk commissioner get coordinated together. That was, we did ask them to make a revision and they said no, so we thought get rid of that.
The 2024 NJDOT state aid programs, the Morrison Ave, that's currently under internal QAQC review, and we plan on submitting that to DOT for final approval and bidding early January. And that will be bid in the winter for most likely the spring final construction will be paved. 6th Avenue, we did receive a request for eligibility determination letter from USDA. Unfortunately, they said there was no grant funds available. So, I mean, we could continue on with that application to see what the loan is. We can talk later about how best to attack that project.
So basically you're saying that since we were rejected, we can go into the next cycle of money and ask for a loan. Are they gonna reject us on the same terms?
I think the grant is off the table for 2025, based on the letter that they sent. So I know that we were looking for a grant loan mix for this
Right.
project. I don't know how beneficial it would be to submit the full application just to get a loan.
Okay.
So
We can do better rates on the courthouse one.
I believe so.
Yeah.
Little Myrtle Sanitary Sewer Extension, that was, the bids were open November 13th. The low bidder and the contract is being awarded to Perna Finnegan. And we are currently coordinating getting the contracts signed and setting up a pre-construction meeting. It should be noted that the TWA, which is the treatment works application, was deemed complete administratively. We called today to see who the engineering reviewer will be, and they have not assigned that yet. So hopefully get that TWA application permit soon. First Avenue is the 2025 state aid for the NJDOT. They actually allocated $142,371 to the project. We are currently scoping and preparing a scope and budget letter for that project. That's from Sunset Boulevard to Grant Avenue.
So once that happens, You're thinking next fall, winter,
We could,
fall?
yeah, most likely construction fall.
Okay.
Fourth Avenue and West Drive pump station generators, we've been working with the finance department to, purchase two of the generators, one for Fourth Avenue and one for West Drive from the state contract. That is, Cape May County ARPA funds, which need to be encumbered by December 31st this year. So hopefully have something on the next meeting agenda for, our proposals and both of those generators
Well,
in order to encumber those funds, yeah. And last but not least is the West Cape May to Cape May City pedestrian and bicycle bridge project. I know that's, just wanted to get it on the list. There is a local recreation infrastructure grant available. They say up to $100,000, but possibly more. So that is due January 31st of next year. So I'll send a proposal in to get that moving. It's a simple state grant. We'll be able to submit by then. But that will definitely help in funding that project.
Do you know, I did talk to Paul Dietrich actually today. Do you know if we can apply for one and they can also apply? Does it count as two different projects?
It's a good question.
Because, I mean, if they just do it for the, you know, we
For
do
their
the
side.
bridge and they'll just do the land on
You
that
guys are
side.
two different entities. If we're doing it, because there was gonna be a shared service, but if we split it and maybe you guys take the bridge and they upgrade like the sidewalk over there and improve their side, and you guys improve yours, shared services for the bridge, I don't see why I wouldn't be able to.
Great. So you just let me know, I'll set up time to talk to Paul again and see if we can keep pushing forward a little bit.
You just won't be able to do half the bridge in like.
No, we're committed, I think, to the bridge. It's just that they need to do they committed that they would let us land the bridge in their town, which is necessary.
So, yeah, I'll investigate that and definitely get back to you. And also in conjunction with the grant application for possibly both Cape May City and West Cape May, I guess we'll reach out to Paul Dietrich tomorrow. See if they want to, us to submit one in conjunction with them. And then we are also preparing a proposal for the conceptual layout, wetlands delineation, permitting, pre-application meeting with NJDEP. That will be the most time-sensitive thing in order to get this project done next year, to get involved in DEP.
What's the usual timing on getting that kind of permit?
For DEP,
Mm-hmm.
well, the pre-application meeting is pretty quick relative for DEP. So that might take like a month to set up. And then we have present our conceptual layout, show them where the wetlands line, the mean high water line, all the different entities in order for them to let us know at that meeting, hey, this, you'll need individual permit or GP permit, general permit, whatever. And then it takes 3 to 4 months probably after that to actually get the permits, after they let us know what permits are necessary. So it'll be into the summer before we.
Right, so if everything goes relatively smoothly, standard timelines, we're talking next fall.
For construction.
Yeah.
And nothing standard with DEP, but.
Right, and that's also one that since it's not, we're not closing roads or anything like that, it could actually be done anytime,
That's true.
so. Yeah, great, thanks.
So I got.
Is there any, historical, examination has to be done if there's a canal there, being that it's an old area?
That's something that would be brought up at the DEP's pre-application, if there's like an architectural, archaeological site or something sensitive like that. They'd let us know.
Thank you.
I know on the park in Central, there was a small sensitive archaeological site somewhere on that corner in that area. DEP brought it to our, or DOT Environmental brought it to our attention at that meeting.
Yeah, I heard about that, cause they said the Indians were living here, they could looking for artifacts and who knows what type of things they'll find, even do a search. Gives a quick perusal of the area, and confirm yes or no, yeah. Thank you.
Hey,
All right, moving on to the work session. Under old business, we have the special events ordinance. I'm sure I've given the solicitor a few my suggested amendments to that ordinance, some just language issues. I trust if anybody else has anything they want to add, they'll then provide that to Frank.
Yeah, I also, Frank, just to reiterate, the issue that we want to make sure that gets included in here, that any event that occurs in the borough, either on public or private property, that isn't legislatively overseen by us, we want to be able to, they need to notify us. I think that was the language.
I have that note. And Jack, if you have any comments, get them to me so I can have the revised ordinance by the next meeting, which is next Wednesday.
Yeah, it was simple, to make sure that at least they made us aware that
Yeah.
all these events are going on, at least we know about it. So
Yeah.
at least the town's prepared, the police is prepared, no, there's 2 weddings at once or 3 events on the weekend. I know the Farm Act has something to do with that, hopefully they'll just comply and tell you.
Mercantile licenses are the discussion. I don't have any updated numbers for that tonight.
Yeah, it's pretty much where it was last time. It can't be implemented until 2026, so the urgency to getting it done
Yeah.
now, is, we're taking a little more time to make sure that we actually get this right. So we're looking through a lot of different beach municipalities and rest of Cape May County and see what they do, just so that we have what we think is fair to the borough and fair to the
Let's
constituents.
just take it off the agenda until we're ready to put it back on. Right.
That's a good idea.
Okay, but just remember, it has to be before we
Before
email the
renewal.
notices, so spring of 2025.
Yes, if we need to do it.
I don't remember when court. Okay, street signs and light posts for the historic district. Jack, you have an update on that?
Okay, thank you. We've been making some progress with some, focus on maybe 1 or 2 vendors. Let's talk about the electric guy, Dave Feinberg. He was supposed to get back to us after Thanksgiving, but it looks like after the holidays. He's the light guy who has the shop in Baltimore, and he has the original molds, and he works with Cape May as we speak, so he's already doing Cape May City. Like I mentioned last meeting, he knows the grid system, he knows the style we need, and when the meeting does happen, we're gonna have all the commissioners involved, of course, and the engineers, and so hopefully they're gonna go into particulars with the Atlantic City Electric and what it costs to install, and if there's grants involved. But they look like approximately $5,000 each, all said and done, but they're very nice. And they're, I think it'll be a great thing down the road for the city in Westgate Bay. We have other things, we talked about markets. They're historic markets for certain places, they're about 24 by 24. There's an old fashioned one on Town Bank Road, if anybody's been down by Roman's Pizza, and it talks about Town Bank. The newer ones are a little bit less intricate, less heavy, but the clerk in North Wildwood has just got doing, they have a committed to 30, and they're about 2,500 a piece, all said and done. That's purchasing the sign with specific language on a specific site. Like, for example, the old fire hall on Second Street, I believe, or Third, it would talk about that this was once Borough Hall, this was the fire hall, maybe a picture of it, and it all gets engraved. And there's all kinds of technology where you can actually tap into it with your phone. I guess something's engraved there where you can learn more about it, maybe further details than this one paragraph. And so he might come, he said he can come January, and he's also the historian from North Wildwood. So out of 30, 22 been installed and they've been a big hit just for pedestrians, tourists, somewhere to go and read and walking down the street. I would love to put one at was it the Sawyer House that got torn down? That broke the ice for the historical, the Moffett House, that was the shots fired for the Historic Society. And you can put a sign there saying, what's the Moffett House? The street signs, George has been looking into them to indicate the historic district.
Yeah, I mean, Jack's just talked about the lights, which is a capital project. So we need to understand whether the lighting company actually can do the engineering, not the engineering work, but the installation for us, or we need to hire somebody else. So that's a capital project. It'll be a decent amount of money. The street signs, on the other hand, are a maintenance issue. We were planning anyway to replace the street signs, as a lot of our poles are bent and they're faded signs. So this is just the incremental cost to replace with what we have now, okay, just like for like, and upgrade that to having historical posts and signs. Those posts and signs are anywhere between $300 and $400. So rather than $100. So it's an incremental cost above it, but it comes out of the maintenance budget for Department of Public Works. It's not a capital improvement project. And the third thing is Jack's clock, which is kind of a one-off thing. Where does it go? How does it get funded? A lot of towns actually have private funding for something like this. But anyway, Jack has done a lot of research on that.
Yeah, the other thing, the clock, there's they're normally 15 foot high, there's 2 4 sign and one thing we call the Howard St. Thomas clock. They're all replicas of the 120-year-old clocks back in Europe or wherever in America. And the two-sided one seems to be very popular amongst George and Carol, I believe. And also inexpensive, like 22,000 versus 32,000 for a four-sided. And again, the location has to be, the treat, everyone should be involved with picking out the colors and at least just get it narrowed down to what type they like. But they're all pretty close. They're all nice to me. But that's something we could do. It's doable. And whether we get the money from the grant, there's a special fund act called the Beautification Diverse Fund that we're dealing with. Frank Donato and Lauren looking into a special fund that we apply for, and the money we get dedicated from the fund will go right to the clock as well. So it could be other monies than the borough's money, which could be a positive thing. So there's multi things going on, and I think all of them together, down the road is going to be really nice for the town. And 100 years from now, something like you said, we're timeless. You won't look back and say, we should have done that. And I think it'll be a good thing for everybody. Okay, thank you.
Last up under old business is the subject of the light pollution. And included in your packet is a copy of the lighting standards that we have already here in the borough. So if you want to review them a little bit and see how that would play into the dark sky.
Yeah, last week we had the full 5-page document from Cape May City, and the conversation, for those of you who aren't here, was how do you implement this? The dark sky is for the environment, the birds.
Your neighbors.
Well, that's intrusion. That's light intrusion in your neighbor's yard. But the question that came up last week, and I understand what the ordinance is supposed to do. I think that it would be okay, but you can't mandate it on existing houses. I think you would have to say anybody that comes before the planning board has to have some kind of meet some light standard, or if you're doing a renovation. I know that living in a historic district, it's difficult to find lights that actually are historic as well as dark sky. So, for example, I'll just use I have 6 lights that cost a lot of money that I would not want to be having to replace because we changed the ordinance. And I know that there's a lot of, I know, and that's how, there's a lot of people that would say the same thing. So for anything that's new, I don't have any issue with that.
Yeah, new or redeveloped, so.
I'd be yes.
Okay, is there anything else under old business that needs to be discussed? All right, seeing nothing additional, we have no new business, and at this time I'll open for public comment. If anyone from the public has a comment about the work session, please come forward and state your name.
Susan Hoffman, 408 Fourth Avenue. I think the beautification projects sound wonderful. Streetlights, signs, clock, that all sounds like a really great idea and would do a lot to, emphasize the historic nature of the community. My question has to do with the special events permit. So would that apply to things like the tree lighting, the Lima Bean Festival, the Strawberry Festival?
Those are our sponsored events, so we know about them already. So it wouldn't,
So
I wouldn't change. what-
No. no.
The short answer to that question
No.
Okay, so we would have to apply for a permit.
No.
Okay, that's all.
Anyone else from the public have any comments about the work session?
Seventeen in Middletown. I love the idea of the clock. Any consideration about putting it in the middle of the circle that is gonna come over by like CVS, that area there?
Can't do it.
Yeah.
The way it's engineered, it's actually flat. Because trucks have to be able to go
Yeah.
through it. Fire trucks,
Yeah.
trucks turning into the lumber yard.
And couldn't have anything that interfered with the sightline. So,
Okay,
Yes.
oh, so nothing.
But it was a good idea. We thought about that. We were gonna fountain
so
or something.
the statute will be as a.
No statute.
No statue, no fountain.
It's supposed to be going to be in the form of a, but
Right, bronze.
Right, yeah. It's a good idea, but it's unfortunate, the engineering.
Now I understand when like trucks need to go through it, cause I'm like, wait, it's a roundabout, but you mean for like a
Yes, yes.
anyone else from the public with a comment on the work session? I'll close public comment and we'll move on to the regular meeting. On the consent agenda, we have the minutes from the November 27th, 2024 regular meeting. No ordinances for introduction and publication. We have two resolutions tonight. Both resolutions are to, Resolution 163-24, authorizing the appropriation transfers during the last 2 months of the fiscal year for the municipal budget. Resolution 164-24, authorizing appropriation transfers during the last 2 months of the fiscal year water sewer budget. So that is simply transferring funds so we can keep paying our regular scheduled bills during the last quarter. On the non-consent agenda, we have no ordinances for second reading and public hearing, no new resolutions to discuss. We'll move on to commissioners' reports.
I'm
You want to do a vote on the consent agenda?
Yes, yes. I'll make just to approve the consent agenda.
So, right,
second motion.
roll call please.
Commissioner Antonello,
Yeah,
Deputy Mayor Dick,
Yes.
Mayor Sabo.
Yes. Commissioners' reports, please.
I'll start. Good evening, everybody. Merry Christmas. I'll start with the police. As of November, we've had 314 calls for service. Out of that, traffic stops, we had 86 traffic stops, but resulted in 24 summonses issued, so that coincided with the court before too, but 24 tickets, motor vehicle tickets. There were no arrests, which is great. No other issues, 80 property checks, with duties, administrative duties 69. So again, out of all 314 calls, there were no arrests, and it's a great town, it's a great safe town. On the fire end, we have the two reports, we have the volunteer side, which is we have a volunteer fire department, they had 18 calls for the month of November. And they do additional calls as well, they do mutual aid for the surrounding communities, they help out City of Cape May as well as Cape May Point and Lower Township. And they had 7 calls, West Cape May, 7 calls, City of Cape May, 3 to Lower and 1 to the Point. And they did have 1 appliance fire that could have been pretty bad, so they saved a small fire that could have been big, they were able to get to it and put it out quickly. System, again, we had 24 tickets issued and dealt with in the courts. And also this year we have the, I guess with the reorganization, we have upcoming appointees. And looks like we're gonna continue with the same judge we have, we're having a meeting this week, but she's been working well for the next couple of years, so that looks fantastic. No changes with the administration, whether prosecutor or public defender.
These haven't been discussed yet.
What's that?
Nothing.
We met with the environmental meeting last week. The next meeting is 1/15/25, if you want to attend. They talked about a few things. They asked me a question, I didn't know the answer. George took, bailed me out with that one, about the, I guess it was the solar system. So they, I guess prior to my joining the board, there was a solar, question for the city of Westgate Bay. I don't know if it's gonna continue, but George has, they can elaborate more on that one there.
Sure, I mean, we had a project with a company to do solar panels on the fire company's roof. And on this roof, and it's gone back and forth multiple times. The gist of it is, we're trying to make sure we nail down who's responsible if something happens to the roof. The roofing company says if you put some solar panels on the roof, the warranty is voided. The solar company says the financial company that's actually leasing us the panels will take responsibility. We have not seen the proper documentation to make that happen, so it is not going forward until we actually see that. That's the whole story.
As commissioners know, I have been in communication with the general counsel for NJR, the
Finance company.
the actual company that, has been assigned the warranty. And I should have a report for you next week,
Excellent.
okay?
And the other thing with the environmental, I guess the water ordinance, it's gonna change that, and we're still negotiating with the city of Cape May, with George and Carol doing. Other than that, that's all I have to say, and again, Merry Christmas and Happy New Year.
First thing I have, if you look up on the board, I always like to put things good news up if we can. I don't know if any of you have read this. This is in the Herald this week. Actually, last week it was in the Herald. The new one came out today, and it is Government Meeting Transparency Scorecard. And the categories are live monitoring of meetings, meeting time after business hours, meeting after 5 o'clock, video available within 24 hours, audio available within 24 hours, remote participation available, meeting documents available for meeting. And I'm happy to report that West Cape Bay, along with Cape May City, Stone Harbor, Wildwood Crest, all got the highest rating of 5 of those things out of the 16 municipalities plus the county. As you can see, there are 7 people who have 1s at the bottom, so they don't do any of this. So I just want to take out, we put on in the video recording system this year. We have tried to make a really big effort to make sure that everybody can see this wherever they are in the world. And we do try to be as transparent as we possibly can. And I think this shows a really good report card for us. So I wanted to share that with you guys. Again, it's in the Herald. It was in last week's article. You can probably find it online, and it's also out in the paper that's sitting out there now. Master planning, master plan, because I know there's people in the audience are always want to know the answer to the master plan timing. We did agree at our last planning board meeting that we will have an introductory meeting on January 7th at the planning board meeting with Pannonius and Associates, who are our planning consultants. So anybody that's interested in that, it would be great that you could come, and then we're gonna, hear what they have to say about their process, and you get started. That's all I have.
This is why I let them go first. What a weekend it was last weekend, from the tree lighting and to the parade on Saturday. It's really hard to put into words the experience of seeing that parade step off and knowing all the hard work that went into it, the organization, and the donations that residents and businesses have made have been so generous. You can donate to the Christmas parade year round. It doesn't stop just because we just had it, just saying. But really, it was a great community event, and despite the large crowds, it is, the people that I see along the parade route are all people that are neighbors and friends, and I can't think of a better way to start off the holiday season, so. That being said, we have one more meeting, which is next week. Obviously, we won't be meeting on Christmas Day. Next week will be our second meeting for December. So we'll see each other then. This time I'll open for public comment, if anyone from the public would like to speak. Not?
Barry Bitmaster.
Green, please back up. Yes.
How's that?
Perfect.
Barry Bitmaster, 117 Emerald Avenue. The parade sparked some thought, and it's been a priority for me as far as crosswalks go in town. I know, George, you've started with the yellow on the curbing, which is great. When you have that many people in our community, although roads were blocked, et cetera, I know the mayor, you indicated, the engineer was referred, you want to look into this as far as getting the crosswalks painted. So my comment is we kind of dragged our feet on that. It may seem very apparent to us, we're across the street, not a problem, but when you look at someone who's afflicted with disabilities, whether that be auditory, visual, et cetera, and I have experience with that, small children, et cetera, so it gives them a sense of security, guidance, safety, as well as can be a liability question, as well. So my comment would just be if we can accelerate that, particularly for, the summer season coming up, for the borough streets to have our crosswalks painted. So it's visible, it's reflective, and
Trying to think what, because I know, the engineer from the county, you're talking about Broadway, right? Or are you talking about other?
all our borough streets where there's no crosswalks painted on the roadway.
I think he was referring to, you mentioned there's a crosswalk across Broadway, if it's feasible at the West.
Yeah, we already set the
Yeah.
engineer report back, but that's not
Yeah.
because of ADA access and
Where the driveway apron is,
the driveway and,
utility pole. But it is doable and it is on the county's radar, but the Broadway is a county road.
right,
I guess you could use taxpayer funds and do a shared services to do that if you would want, but.
There's numerous other borough streets, mine included, Emerald Avenue, one side of Park Boulevard has painted. The Broadway side, our street, Emerald, has no painted crosswalk.
Gotcha. So there's, like you said, there's a lot of borough streets. Do you want me to take a look at the entire borough? Or?
I think we talked about, we talked about crossing Park, and we've explained the situation with where it ends. I know that you would love to have a crosswalk at Emerald going into the bushes across the street.
I'm not sure what you mean by that, George. Emerald and the Broadway side. There's no bushes there, and there's cuts on the sidewalk. No, I'm talking about, we had talked about going across to the shopping center at Park.
right.
You're okay with that?
If that's doable, great, but if we could strike
I'll tell you,
what we
how-
already cuts would be great.
rather than Tony, how about you and I get together and we'll walk it, and we'll talk about which ones you're thinking, so I can actually visualize what you're.
Okay.
And then I can just work with
Yes.
Department of Public Works.
Interesting.
You saw how fast we got the sidewalks done, the yellow line, so. Let's,
Okay.
let's just set up a time, we'll go for a walk, chat, we'll say, this is what you're thinking. I'm trying to visualize these.
Get down.
Yeah, let's just go down and get dirty with it.
Okay,
All right.
But also, I asked a question to the engineer. I've seen these crosswalks in the city where they kind of skim them and carry. It almost impresses like a brick, well-contained red. They don't period brick, they almost look like, that's something you can do as well.
That's literally stamped asphalt.
Stamped asphalt.
Paint over it.
Oh, they're beautiful, yeah.
It's a little more expensive than obviously striping, but
Maybe that'd be something to look at.
We have roads.
how much more, but again, it's only sort of, in the major cities, we only have a few areas where.
You know, really, the roads planning, when you think about it, I always talk about visual clutter with signage and signage is so important for safety, but also when there's so much and the painting on the streets, I'd rather see the asphalt demarcations than painting because it's a little more easy on the eyes, but gives you the same information. And so, anyway, very thank you. Is there anyone else from the public who would like to comment? Seeing no one else wishing to comment, I'll take a motion to adjourn.
Make a motion to adjourn.
The second motion,
Roll call, please.
Commissioner Antonicello,
here.
Deputy Mayor Dick,
Yes.
Mayor Sabo.
Yes. Thank you, everyone.
All right. Monday at 10?
I'll get back.
Okay. Yeah, you can.
That was bottom back, you know, they. Oh, yeah. Yeah.